Hello, hello. So this is exclusive for agents, like nothing else. Yeah. Yeah, it is interesting to see how they how do I approach this scalability issue that's often encountered when dealing with this type of agents. Hello, hello. No sound?
Okay. You can still hear me, right?
I can. You just open the
Okay.
stream. Oh yeah, I can hear you now in the stream as well.
Okay, that's cool. All right. Yeah, sorry for this and for everyone who's watching. I'm not sure. I didn't edit my setup, so that's weird. So, yes. So sorry for that. Basically, Council is an AI agent platform that is currently being built. If you're interested in these kinds of agent platforms, I think they can be super helpful. Yeah, and for sure this will be a huge thing in the future. And they have really big plans. So this similar to, I'm not sure if you actually checked this out yet. It's called LangSmith, which is also something similar from LangChain.
Yeah, actually, I was invited to start building on Langsmith. I haven't had the time, but yeah, like I did get an email that they gave me access. Totally planning on checking that.
Okay, yeah. That's pretty cool. And I think it's very important to not have only one platform or project that is building this. So for example, in web development, you don't only have React, but for example, you had like Angular, things like this. So I think it's very important that you have multiple frameworks out there and then you can choose from the best one. And they're also kind of competing against each other. So yeah, cool to see this. Um, yeah, we will not dig deeper into the usage of this.
Oh, but maybe we can take a look at that map that they had to see how they uh, approach like these.
This one right here.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, pretty much tells you how can you make this scalable.
Mhm. So yeah, it's interesting that these are also the component that we've seen in the documentation. So you have like an agent chain, you have also like smaller chains, then the controller that basically controls all these components.
Yeah,
Um,
pretty similar to stuff we've seen with LangChain.
mhm, mhm.
I guess this controller element is what it's new, maybe.
Yeah.
This whole like controller evaluator filter.
And I think this is also something very interesting that you have this evaluator that actually then checks if a response is valuable to the overall answer. So yeah, pretty
Yeah, I
cool,
mean
pretty cool.
that's always useful.
Hmm.
Like probably an alternative would be just implement that type of thing with a chain, and it's probably something that people who build on top of this have to do often, myself included. So yeah, it seems like a pretty well thought alternative.
Yeah, okay, then let's jump over to the next one. So this is not really some GitHub repository or something. This is actually a Google blog post that is a bit older, but I think it's still pretty interesting. Yeah, because we've seen, for example, with Stack Overflow, they had a recent drop in users, I think about like 40%. And yeah, of course, this is related to the release of ChatGPT. So now it's very interesting what the future of Google, the Google search engine or Google search looks like. So of course, they are also integrating generative AI in their search engine or search
Yeah,
page.
I mean, if ChatGPT had access to current information, I personally wouldn't use Google like
Yeah.
almost at all.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, the question is if you want, for example, you have a question that you type into Google, then it's obvious that you don't want 10 blue links. You want an answer to your question, right? So, yeah, I guess this is the way to go. Maybe let's have a quick look at this video. You will probably not have sound, but the viewers will do.
I'ma make 'em talk like, whoa. Move fast, move slow. Catch me on a roll. Come say hello. 3, 2, 1, let's go.
Yes, yes, yes.
Come say hello. 3, 2, 1, let's go.
You got this. Let's go.
Is a hot dog a sandwich? And the answer is
Yes.
no.
Yes.
No.
Yeah, okay. I think that's basically says it in a really good way. I think this one here looks really interesting. That this generation looks pretty good.
Yes, it looks super user friendly. Also, like I'm curious why I haven't heard more of this. Like since I see that this was posted on May, right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I guess Google is pretty careful with putting things out there. Like their most recent ChatGPT competitor did get some backlash for not being pretty great.
Yeah, no, of course. Also, these type of functionalities raise the type of issue as like, what's a correct answer from the internet? Because like the internet's a really big place. So what do you display as
Mhm.
the answer of X question or Y question? So I guess the biggest issue there is like these standards that they have to meet somehow.
Mhm.
Because the technology was already there. Like we saw ChatGPT plus the web browser version doing basically these.
Yeah, I think this is also looking pretty interesting. In my opinion, ChatGPT generations look pretty boring because, I mean, they
Yeah.
have markdown format, but there are no images. There's nothing really more than markdown.
Yeah, no, for sure, for sure. Like visually, it's really, really like at least easy to navigate. Let's say.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I'm hyped for this. Let's see what comes in the future. Um, could be really awesome, and I hope it will be really awesome. Yeah, because this will just be a huge productivity booster for everyone. I'm also wondering how this will actually be for developers, if this will be, or if this will become super useful. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I can already see the debate this is going to spark us into, because the fact that they're like already showing you the answers, like this is the answer, like you could kind of think that somebody is controlling like the narrative behind us, like what do they want to show you, and you know how people is with all these type of things.
Hmm.
But yes, it looks like something super interesting to hopefully be able to use and test soon.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Then let's jump to the next topic, which is a GitHub repository again. And this is actually a paper that was released, or this is actually the implementation of a paper. So this is a project that basically can query relevant cases, like legal cases, for some query. And this is not some vector database or something running in the background, but this is like its own model for retrieving these kinds of cases. So yeah, this is pretty interesting to see this in some way implemented for this scenario, because I guess with this we will soon have similar stuff. So for example, for the medical field with medical question retrieval, things like this. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's always really nice to be able to like have access to these type of, because papers are there all the time, but to be able to actually use it, like implement it, let's say, like for example, these interactive simulate, what's the name? I think it's called in generative agents, interactive simulacra of human behavior. I don't know if you remember this
I
paper
think
that was like
we
the
will come to
tiny.
something similar in a
Okay,
couple of
then
projects.
I'll save it for that.
Okay, okay, yeah. Okay, let's jump to the next one. So this is not really AI related, but I think it's still pretty interesting. It's called PyScript, and we can have a look at the code right here. So this is a project that aims to utilize Python within your web browser. So basically, you can include like any other script in JavaScript. You can include this PyScript package right here. And with this, you can then basically write Python with the help of this Pyodide and WebAssembly um, right inside your browser. And this is pretty cool. So they have some basic examples right here. So I had a look at this simple clock, for example. Um, this is just a basic example, but you can see that basically this really works. So this is now natively written in Python. And yeah, I think that's pretty cool that you can do something with this right inside your browser.
Yeah, it's pretty cool actually.
Yeah,
It's the type of thing that makes you question the why, how somebody didn't come with this before.
yeah, that's true. Um, yeah, it's super cool to see this. Yeah, because we don't have any like framework out there that is using Python in the web browser. Yeah, pretty cool. And I guess you will be able to build some cool AI projects with this also. So yeah, if you're interested in checking this out, to the viewers of the stream, it's called PyScript. You can find it on GitHub. They have tons of examples and a homepage with some documentation. So yeah, feel free to check this out. All right, the next thing is Azure Search OpenAI Demo. And this is a demo of some search retrieval type of system on the Azure cloud platform. And this is pretty cool because, for example, this is similar to some vector database. So this is basically an entire system for retrieving relevant documents to some prompt or question. Yeah, and this is basically an entire system that is open source that you can just copy and use for your own projects. Yeah.
And do we know exactly what's going on there? Like how does it manage to do this?
Mhm. So I'm not entirely sure, but like they index the thing, and
Mhm.
I think if you're similar, for example, or if you're familiar with the LangChain document retrievers, they have a bunch of different ways to actually get documents out of a vector database. So they kind of reformulate questions. Um,
Yeah, I mean, what piqued my interest in here is the word cognitive, because I guess it implies some sort of like, well, cognitive process.
mhm.
So yeah, yeah, that looks like something that's worth taking a look at. Maybe it's just another version of same old, but who knows?
This is also pretty interesting because this looks very similar to the Bing chat. Maybe this is even the same code.
Yeah,
Who knows? Yeah, but it's pretty cool because you have these citations going. You have follow-up questions that are being generated. Yeah, so I guess if you're building a hackathon project that is utilizing some kind of search in the background, this could be really interesting and maybe a good point of inspiration. Okay, then let's jump from this directly to the next one. So now we're coming to these autonomous agents in the
yes,
simulated world. So this is called AI Town, and we also can visit this live demo right here. So
yes,
basically,
it's
yeah,
super cool to look at.
basically what this is you have these different kinds of agents, and they can also interact with each other in this virtual world right here. So you have this world and these different people, and now these two are having a conversation, and you can just follow their conversation that's going on the right side here. So we have Alice and Kira who are just talking about different stuff. Yeah, and
Yeah, I mean, what I was going to mention earlier is that this specific paper, the generative agents, interactive simulacra of human behavior, they just this is not a new paper. I think it's April, March, somewhere there. But uh, yeah, they released this publicly available, so you could now run your own like town
mhm, mhm,
and check, and it's pretty cool. Like even if you're not like a lot into AI or like an AI expert, it's definitely worth to read this paper.
yeah, and I think this is also super useful because here you have like these different kinds of activities that I also do. So joining for coffee at a cafe. Um,
Mm-hmm.
And right here, for example, you can really see that this is now a somewhat living world. So
You
sharing
know,
news
it's
with colleagues.
super interesting. Like what happened. Like even like for those who don't know, haven't like checked the paper. Like this is like fully like language model going at it. Like just they told them like you're this person, and
Hmm.
everybody had like this tiny description, and then now you're free. And like they made a gathering for Valentine's party, and like 12 agents showed up, and they were like having a party and stuff like all by themselves.
Yeah, that's super cool to see. And I'm not sure where this could actually be used in some useful way. The only thing I could think of is maybe like some computer games. So this already looks like Pokemon right here. But imagine like a world in Pokemon where you really can speak to one character and then this character really has its own life and he's telling about his experience
Yeah,
with you to other people and then you visited another person and he already knows about you and what you did.
that sounds really cool. Like I honestly didn't think about it like that way. For me, it was something just like, curiosity, which
Yeah.
usually just takes the best of us, and it's something super cool to look at. But yeah, like that sounds like something I would buy 100%.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, this in open world games, I mean, we have GTA 6 coming soon or any other open world game. Would be really cool to see something like this.
Yeah. I mean, I can't think of how would they build something like this that it's scalable at that level.
Yeah.
To be honest, like I guess that would be like a massive amount of language model processing.
Hmm. Hmm.
But hypothetically, yes, that would be super cool. I think that would be borderline creepy. Like, imagine you tell it something and then you forget, and then you play like 2 months later, and it just tells you, and you're like super freak out. Like, there's already these games that like kind of get the information from your computer and they know your name and stuff like that, and that's already freaky.
Hmm.
So yeah, like this is we were having a discussion about this actually with the Gaia teams, and they were saying that like maybe they could use this type of thing. For example, there was this person who used to work with self-driving cars, so they would like had these simulations to see if they would hit someone or not. But of course, you can't really simulate like
Hmm.
human behavior because sometimes it's just like chaotic.
Yeah.
So he was posing the question like if like we keep going at this, like are we going to be able to 100% like simulate like humans? Like imagine just like these people actually behaving like actual humans,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
they just you know doing things that like a human would do, just having sort of like free will. I don't know how would you describe that,
Hmm.
but yeah, it was a really interesting talk.
Yeah. Yeah. Just super cool to see something like this. Yeah. And for example, this AI town right here. is really a starter kit for everyone who builds similar kinds of applications. So I found, for example, this one fork, which is Cat Town. And I mean, it looks pretty similar, but it's basically just a bunch of cats roaming around in this world. Yeah, and also having some conversations with each other, just in the cat context, I guess. Yeah, but cool to see something like this. All right, then let's hop over to our last project for today. So this is Small Podcaster. I mean, we had, I think the name was Small Developer, but this is now Small Podcaster, and this is a project that is utilizing different models to basically generate a clean, diarized transcript of any podcast with labels and timestamps. So this is pretty cool to have because, for example, if you're just using OpenAI Whisper, you just get the transcript, but you don't know which speaker is currently speaking, and I think you don't even know what timestamps. So pretty cool to see this. Then this can also generate a list of chapters with timestamps, give you title ideas based on previous ones, and give you ideas for a tweet to announce the project. So yeah,
Yeah, this is pretty cool. I also have seen a couple other tools like lately. I see more and more like for these type of content creation tools for AI. There was this, I don't remember the name right now, but this tool that like allowed you could run on your computer like super easy. You just needed like maybe an OpenAI API key and 11 Labs for voice, or you could use a free one and it could do like things like it's short GPT, I think it's the name. Yes,
oh,
and it's aimed to short YouTube Shorts, but pretty much works with everything. And like you could translate the whole video. Like we like imagine we record this and then we just run it through that, and then we have like same stream but translated to whatever language. They had lots of languages actually. We were surprised at the amount of languages options. You could add subtitles immediately. You could generate some other things. I don't remember. You could do editing. It was pretty cool. And yeah, like of course different because this is for podcasts, but I've seen a lot of these type of tools aimed for content creation, which well, it's gonna make if we already have lots of content creators, we're gonna have more and more.
mhm.
I think.
I would also love to see something similar for YouTube videos, because if you want these small chapters in your YouTube videos, I know that you have to basically set these timestamps on your own. And I think it would be really useful for just generating timestamps for a YouTube video.
I mean, it doesn't sound like there's much more, let's say, implications just changing these to also handle video.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. And then the
So
output format should be the specific way YouTube needs it in order to basically
yeah, it
set
seems
these chapters.
something very, very likely to happen soon. Maybe somebody hearing this gets some inspiration and just grabs this small podcast, tweaks it a little bit, and then we have a small YouTube or a small YouTube.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Um, all right, and yeah, that's already everything from this week. So if you're interested in these kinds of technologies, make sure to check out our upcoming hackathons on LabLab AI. You will find all the links to these projects on our LabLab Discord. Yeah, and thank you, Emmanuel, for being here. I hope everyone enjoyed watching, and I will see you on Friday. So yeah, thank you for watching.